All right, so this is 9.3, and in this section, we're going to be measuring weight and temperature. Weight and temperature. And there are a couple of units in here that, again, you are going to need to make sure that you know, like the English units of weight that are given on page 602. You need to make sure you know those, and I'll write them up here. That 16 ounces equals 1 pound. Most of this you probably already know. And that 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. Okay. All right, then some other, Then if you look on 603, it gives you the same conversions or the same prefixes for metric units that we had before. So go back to that stair step and make sure you memorize that. But this time, instead of meters being in the center, we're going to have grams being in the center. So if we draw that stair step again, so grams would be right here. This would be kilo. This is hecto. This is deca. This is deci, centi, and milli. The values are exactly the same, which is what makes using the metric system so easy, and why we like to use it is because converting is exactly the same, whether you're doing grams or meters, it's the same amount. Okay, so we'll go through a couple of examples with those, and then we'll talk about temperature. Okay, so example 1 says changing units within the metric system. So we are going to be changing or converting 8.7 decagrams to milligrams. And then we are also going to convert 950 milligrams to grams. Those are our two conversions. All right, so let's look at doing this one first. So again, we're going to start with what we're given. So we have 8.7 decigrams. Okay, we want our decigrams to be in the bottom. So what I need to do, since this is a prefix here and this is a prefix here, the easiest thing is to go back to my grams and then make another jump back to milligrams. I'll show you two ways that you can do it. But just for the ease of memorization, I like to always go back to grams first. So that would mean that I'm going to have decigrams. I'm going to have grams in the top. All right. Where's my, there it is. I'm going to have grams in the top. Go away. And then I'm going to have decigrams in the bottom. So I like to do my units first because then I know if something cancels correctly. The bigger unit gets the 1. Okay, so a gram, I can look up here and see a gram is bigger than a decigram. So 1 gram is equal to 10 decigrams. Well, that gets rid of my decigrams because they cancel. So I'm good there. But now I need to, I don't want another text box. Go away. Now I need to change my grams to milligrams. So I'm going to multiply and put another unit multiplier. And this time grams is going to go on the top and milligrams is going to go, or grams is going to go on the bottom and milligrams is going to go on the top. And again, I look, grams is bigger, so grams gets the 1. Milli is smaller, so my 1,000 goes there. Okay, and then I check and make sure everything cancels out. Grams cancels with grams. Okay, decigrams canceled, grams canceled. So now I have just milligrams, which is what I wanted. So it's 8.7 times 1,000 is 8,700. Then I divide that by 10, and I get 870 milligrams. Oops. Okay. Now, the other way you could do that, if I want to try and go straight and just use 1 unit multiplier, I can look and think, all right, I want to get milligrams. So milligrams goes in the top, decigrams goes in the bottom. So now I need to figure out what numbers go there. So I look, here's decigrams up here. Decigrams is bigger. So decigrams will get the 1. And then I count how many steps did I have to go down to get to milligrams. Okay, so that's 10 and 100 because each step is a 10. So this will be 10 times 10, which is 100. So there's 100 milligrams in 1 decigram. So you can do it that way too, as long as you have that stair step memorized. If you don't, it gets a little confusing with what goes where or what number is where. So, and that comes out to be exactly the same. So, all right, so now my next one is a little bit easier because it's just grams to milligrams. So I'm just going to go straight down. 950 milligrams. Okay, if I have milligrams in the top, that means I want milligrams in the bottom of my unit multiplier. Okay, so I'm going to put grams in the top, milligrams in the bottom. That way I've got numerator, denominator, they'll cancel out. Then I look and I think, okay, grams is bigger, so grams gets the 1. And then I look, how many spaces did I go down to get to milli? That's 10, 100, 1,000. So there are 1,000 milligrams in a gram. Okay, and then I just take 950 and I divide it by 1,000. So it's 950 times 1, which is 950, divided by 1,000, which is 0.950, and it's going to be grams. Okay. All right. We already talked about cubic volume and mass a little bit. We talked about volume and cubic centimeters, but now let's talk about volume and mass. How are those things related? So, and they give you a table there at the top of page 604. So you don't have to memorize this. So volume is 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliter, which is equal to pretty much 1 gram. So those would be your conversions. So in example 2, we know that we have an aquarium holds 0.25 cubic meters cubed of water. How much does water weigh? So that's what we're trying to convert. We're trying to convert 0.25 cubic meters, 2.5 cubic meters, and we have to convert that to grams. All right, so let's do this conversion. So 0, I can always start with what you're given, meters cubed times. All right, so I want to have grams or kilograms, and I want to get rid of my meters cubed. So I'm going to have meters cubed be in the bottom, okay, so that I can get rid of it. Then I look up at my table and I think, all right, in my table on page 604, it said 1 meter cubed is equal to 1,000 kilograms. Okay, so that is my conversion. 1,000 kilograms over 1 meter cubed. So my meters cubed will cancel out. And that should be a 1 right there. Okay, so 0.25 times 1,000 is going to give me 250 kilograms. Okay. All right, so let's look at example 3. We'll try a couple more. All right, so in example 3, it says to convert 160 pounds to kilograms. And then it says to convert 300 grams to ounces. All right, so again, these are not conversions that you should have memorized at all. They're conversions that are in the table on page 604, table 911. They tell you the different conversions for pounds to kilograms and for ounces to grams and things like that. So start with what you're given, 160 pounds. Now, if I want to get rid of pounds, pounds is going to have to be in the denominator. So I put pounds in the denominator. I look in my table, and I see that 1 pound is the same thing as 0.45 kilograms. Okay, so again, pounds will cancel. And 160 times 0.45 is going to give me 72 kilograms. So it's just to write that out, make sure we know where that came from. 45, and that equals 72 kilograms. Okay, so on the next one, again, I'm going to start with what I'm given. I'm going to look up and see what unit multiplier I have. I'm trying to change grams to ounces. So I look in that table and I see that 1 ounce is the same thing as 28 grams. Oops, go back. So then my grams cancel out because one's in the top, one's in the bottom. And I have 300 divided by 28, which gives me 10.7, and it's going to be ounces. Okay. Example 4 is pretty much exactly the same thing, but let's go ahead and just do example 4, and that will be our last one that we'll do in this section, because the others deal with temperature, and those are pretty much just plugging into a formula and working it out as much as it is a conversion. It's actually not a conversion at all. It's just plugging into a formula. So we'll do, it's not dimensional analysis, I mean, by that. All right, so example 4 says a drug dosage is frequently based on the patient's weight measured in kilograms. For example, 20 milliliters of the drug, I don't know, Didronel is used to treat irregular bone formation, should be administered daily for each kilogram of a patient's weight. This can be expressed as 20 milligrams per kilogram. How many 400 milligram tablets should be given each day to a patient who weighs 180 pounds? Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is convert the 180 pounds to kilograms. So let's do that first. And this is on page 605 in the textbook. So 180 pounds, and I look in my table. I'm going to have 0.45 kilograms over 1 pound. And so that equals, oh my God. Okay. So 180 pounds, 0.45 kilograms, that is going to give me 81 kilograms as the person's weight. Okay, and the dosage is 20 milligrams per kilogram. So I'm going to take 81 kilograms times 20 milligrams per 1 kilogram. So that means that that person is supposed to take 1,620 milligrams at a time. Okay, and the third step, you got to figure out how many tablets. how many tablets is that going to be? So I'm going to take the 620 milligrams and I'm going to divide it by the fact that each tablet is 400 milligrams. So let's do it this way. 400 milligrams times 1620 milligrams times 1 tablet per 400 milligrams. So in each one of these, my unit multipliers, everything's canceling out. Pounds and pounds, kilograms and kilograms, milligrams and milligrams. Okay, so that's going to leave me with the number of tablets that that person will have to take every day, which is 4.05 tablets. Okay, so when you get a prescription and they put on there how many tablets to take BID, that means twice a day or 3 times a day or whatever, this is how they come up with that number. They take the person's weight, usually have to turn it into kilograms. They take the dosage, which is how many milligrams per kilogram of body weight. That's how many milligrams they would have to take. And then they multiply that by how many milligrams are in 1 tablet. And then that tells you how many you're supposed to take, okay, in a day's time. All right, so like I said, 5 and 6 are all for temperature, and those are just plugging into a formula, so it's really just algebra. It's more like just plug and chug. So we're not going to work out those separately, but we will have some examples in class. All right, hope this helps, and see you later.